So here's something no one has ever asked me. How do I stay healthy? How do I stay fit? What is my fitness routine and what is my diet and stuff like this? How come no one has ever asked me this? Well, because I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a physical fitness person, I am not a trainer or anything along those lines. On the other hand, I think I do have something to share about this precisely because I'm not any of those. I'm a person who's working at the computer day in and day out. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a freelancer, presumably just like you who's watching this. And at this point, I'm in my 40s, so I've been doing this for some time. And so there are a couple things that I've learned along the way. So let's get into this. First of all, I'm not going to tell you to have a big fitness routine and change your diet and eat less and drink more water and all that. I mean, actually, I will be telling you to do all of that stuff, but not right away. The main thing that I've found in my life and the main thing that works for me is when I make very little tweaks. I think I've done videos before talking about the Kaizen method, which is something I believe in very much for work and in fact for language learning. I know I talk about in that course and stuff like this, but I apply it to many things in life, including here. So what does this mean? This means that I take very small steps at a time. Right now, I do have a fitness routine. In fact, I have more than one. And I do have sort of a diet that I follow. It's not a diet, but a nutritional method, let's say, that I follow. And I make sure I drink plenty of water, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't start doing it all at once. I started very slowly. So my advice to you is to listen to all the stuff I'm going to talk about, but don't think you need to start doing it right away. You just need to start with one thing and then get used to it over time. And after a while, it becomes a habit. And then you can slowly add to it. Just add a very little bit. And then once that becomes a habit, you just add a very little bit and so on and so forth. Remember, you're in it for the long haul. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to come up with the best routine in the world that you'll only stick to for less than a week, but try to add on to your routine very, very marginally, but continuously. So let's start with a workout. So what do? Every morning, not every morning. It gets complicated, again, because I've gotten used to it over time. What happens is, if I wake up before 7 in the morning, I have a workout routine. I follow the AthleanX morning workout. It's an app on my phone, and I did pay for it. It's a one-time payment, but it has a set routine that lasts 8 weeks, I think, or maybe 12 weeks, and I just follow that on repeat. Once I finish it, I start it over. Now, actually, if I wake up earlier than 6:30, so more than 30 minutes ahead of time, and it's not raining, then I'll go out for a run. And again, it might seem a bit complicated, but it's because I've applied it over time. But this isn't my only workout. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I actually have an afternoon workout. I find it works out well because it sort of breaks up my afternoon, and I feel a bit recharged after having worked out. In this workout, I won't do much cardio, but I work on weights and upper body muscles, stuff like this. Now we're all working from home, and I know I've mentioned this before, I think in my vlog, I showed you how I basically have a duffel bag full of books over there, and as I read new books, I put them in the bag, so the bag is becoming progressively heavier as I read more. Anyway, that's my dumbbells, and that's what I use to lift weights. And I just have this schedule that I stick to, so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do this. So what else do? I also try to eat healthily. And I mentioned this in another video, how I try not to munch on potato chips or on chocolates or cookies or stuff like this during the day. How do I do this? I don't have chocolates or cookies or potato chips out there. We do have some, but we keep them very hard to get to. While I always have bananas, apples, grapes, pears, whatever it might be. Anyway, fruits and veggies, I always have them out there available, because I know I munch on stuff, and I'm always, if they're not right in front of me, I'll get up and start munching on things that I see around, and then I come back here to my desk. So I try to make sure that the stuff I'm munching on is healthy, and I feel I can munch on stuff like that all day, and it won't have any adverse effect. If I'm munching on M&Ms, on cookies, on Oreos, and potato chips, then it's a different story. Another thing is water. I always have this filled up with water right next to me. In fact, I should probably get a bigger one. I try to have the biggest thing possible full of water. So I always have water with me and I always have water to drink. I've kind of gotten used to it now. So I realize that if I don't have water regularly, then I start feeling thirsty and I start feeling dehydrated, which is probably a good thing. It also means that I have to go to the bathroom quite often, but I also figured that's probably a good thing. It means that I'm having plenty of water. And another thing I try to do is I try to eat less. You've probably heard the saying that you shouldn't eat until you're full, but you should eat until you're 80% full. I feel that my metabolism, probably because of age, has gotten slower and slower and slower. And so I try to eat until I'm, say, 50% full, even 40% full. And then I'll just wait. And I'll think, if I'm still hungry in like an hour or something, then I can eat something, but I'll keep it at this for now. Obviously, this has marginal success here and there, but I try to keep this in mind more often than not when I'm preparing my food and when I'm eating it as well. So I'm not on any strict diet per se. I should say when my wife and I buy food for the house, we buy very little meat. When we order food from restaurants, it does have meat, but otherwise we're basically vegetarians, and we try to eat healthily as well. And the main thing though is I try to keep my portions pretty small, because I'll realize that even though I'm not full, within an hour after eating, I realize, oh yeah, I'm not hungry anymore. I did eat plenty. So these are just some of the things. I frankly think they're quite simple. It's nothing too militant, except maybe the Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout routine. I mean, I do have the thing in the morning, like I said, when I wake up before 7. But quite frankly, since I have the app ready and I'm not fully awake yet, I do that almost without thinking. I just have my phone there with the app ready. And so I wake up and I turned it on and there's the app, and then I start working out before I can question myself or come up with excuses not to. And like I said, the main thing is, if you're not doing any of this stuff, start doing something. It can be anything. And it can literally be like 10 seconds of yoga, whatever it might be. Sit down in a downward facing dog position or whatever. Sorry, I'm not too much of an expert on yoga, but just do something marginally. Because like I said, just make that a habit. And just add to it on later, add on to it later, and then keep adding on to it once you've made that a habit. Likewise with food, after a while, or maybe you can start off with food. In fact, that's pretty much how I did it. I started off with the food and tried to eat a bit less and try to eat more healthily. And so you could do that. Instead of having cookies around, don't buy cookies. That's when you're craving the cookies is when you're at home. But when you're out shopping, just don't buy your cookies, and buy other stuff and keep those handy so you're munching on apples or almonds or whatever it is, stuff like that. Whatever it might be, try something small and then repeat it a couple times until it becomes a habit. Then you can add on it, and you'll find over time, like I said, we're in this for the long haul, that over time, suddenly you will have a lot healthier habits. I probably should have made this a New Year's resolution video or something along those lines, but there you go. Another thing I should add is actually when we do have stuff like cookies or cake or anything along those lines, we have no problem throwing it away. Like we'll take a bite out of a cake, and then when we decide we've had enough, we'll throw it away. And this might sound like a waste, and it is, which is why also we try not to buy so much of it. But we feel that we shouldn't keep it just because we feel like we should keep it, because it'll be empty calories regardless. So if we eat it and maybe we don't like it as much, or maybe we're just full and we know we shouldn't eat it in the future, we have no problem throwing junk foody stuff away, which, by the way, over the long term just means that we buy a lot less of it, because I hate throwing stuff away. To me, it's such a waste of stuff and of money as well. And so I really don't like to do that. And so we end up really being careful about what type of junk food or sweet stuff or unhealthy food we buy, and we make sure when we do buy it, we really do enjoy it. Regardless, I wanted to share how I try to keep healthy, because I do sit in front of the computer all day, and I have had issues, by the way. I've had quite a few issues from this, from my neck, my arm, which I know has been because of my posture that I stay like this. And so there are various things I've had to do. I have visited the doctor, I have visited the chiropractor, and done a bunch of stuff. But I found that as long as I keep up this routine, it's usually okay. I also try to keep my desk elevated, and I also have something else which I can show you now because I'm not using it to film. I have this. And so sometimes if I'm working from my laptop, I'm out of focus. But anyway, you can see what it is. It's one of those desks that you can raise and put on top of the desk. But this allows me to actually not work so much like this, but kind of work like this. I tried for a while with a standing desk as well, but I found that, at least for me, the important part is working like this. By the way, oh, and I forgot to mention, I also have steps that I take every day. I try to take 10,000 steps, and I have an app for that. It's just a free app that I download on my phone, so I try to keep my phone on me when I'm doing these steps. And this will involve just walking around the apartment many times. Anytime I'm on the phone, I walk around a lot, so that helps for the steps. I'll go get the mail. I'll just walk around, to the coffee shop and get a coffee and come back and try to get at least those steps in. This was one of the latest ones that I added onto there. But like I said, these are things that I've added gradually. You can add your own. Feel free to let me know if you have other things that you like to add for your own fitness routine, because I like to try other stuff as well. But I found that if you add marginally each time, then you can maintain your routine for the long term. So hopefully this helps you out, and hopefully if you don't have any problems or issues, you can get started with stuff like this so you won't have issues in the future, because it's not fun to have those issues. And I'm constantly sort of paranoid that I might have those issues again, and which is quite frankly a good motivator to keep working out, but it really is painful and not fun. So try to be healthy sooner rather than later. So hopefully you can find this helpful, and because it's your health, so you really should not neglect it. And regardless, I will talk to you in the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.